Hello everyone, my name is Jessica and welcome to round 6 of the ABSP Masters 2015 between Paul Gallen and Mackay, and today I am joined by the 2015 Westpac runner-up, Lewis.
Hello everyone.
So how does it feel to make it all the way to the finals of a World Championship event?
Yeah, well, ever since I first started playing, I wanted to play in a World Championship event. I've played in, 6 now, I think. And yeah, every player wants to win the World Championship and make the final. And I was able to make the final, which was wonderful, if a bit unexpected. Obviously, the final didn't go very well. I didn't play to the best of my abilities, but Wellington drew very well. He played very well, and in the end, it was too much for me to overcome. But yeah, I was very pleased to make the final, even if it didn't end very well.
Yeah, and hopefully there will definitely be a next time that you make it to a final and you'll be able to win it, no doubt.
Yeah, I came pretty close this year as well. I narrowly lost out in the semi-finals to the eventual winner, Brett Smitheram. So yeah, I'm getting pretty close, and hopefully one day I can take it all the way.
Well, some people say third time's the charm. So, who knows?
Yep.
But let's get on with the game at hand, shall we? The Paul's opening rack.
Yep. Not really much to say here. Once you see the fives with the X, then not much to think about. You might briefly consider if you've got something with the X that will hit the double letter. Better thought suggests that there's nothing like that. So I think Paul played Ixora, if I remember correctly. You can play Orixa as well. There's not really much to choose between the two. I wouldn't recommend playing something like Axe because it leaves too many vowels, and anything else is going to leave too many vowels. So I think Ixora or Orixa, they're pretty much the same thing, really.
Yeah, and especially with the fact that you don't need to play the E here to maximise your score with this rack, it's definitely worth keeping it, despite a 2-vowel leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ixora comes out pretty much only best, but Paul Gallen plays as a verti, as what I've learnt, as what the Americans call it. It's just someone that plays their opening move vertically.
Yes, I do that as well. I'm a avowed verti as well.
Yes, I'm a notable verti as well. We love our verties in this country.
Yes.
So your first rack now, nice and balanced.
Yep. I spent some time here thinking, oh, there's probably a bonus here. I can't miss it. I'm being annotated. I think I saw Unwished. There's a W. I think there's another one, but I can't remember what it is. I think there's only 2 here. So you want to either score something or play off the U and the H, maybe the D as well. Although the D is quite useful here with what's left. In the end, I just played UH next to the X. So it does block the top 2 rows. Can't see a bonus then. I think just fine. And I think Quackle did agree with.
Yeah, there are 3 potential 8s. None of the floaters are available. P, F, and W are the floaters you need.
Oh, unfished, yes. What was it? P.
Yeah.
This is not good. Oh, punished, of course. Yeah.
Don't worry, I could always crop out all the thinking time.
Not to worry.
Anytime you need, it's like I could crop out like 5 minutes, if that ends up being the case. But oh, Quackle seems to prefer fishing the D here.
I like keeping the D. It's very good for here.
And of course, with any fish, the fewer tiles you play to fish, the less variability your next rack is going to have.
Yes, you're minimising variance and the chance that something will go wrong. So I definitely prefer playing UH here.
And whenever I fish, something always goes wrong. So let's never give that a go.
Yep. There's a 7 here. If you, even though there's 4 vowels, it might look a bit awkward. I've just blocked the 8 through the R. Paul has no trouble seeing the bonus here, as you'd expect. He's a very strong player. so no difficulty for him here. And once you see it, there's not really much to think about again, because there's only 3 places for it, and one clearly scores more than the rest. So Adoptee it is, next to Ixora, making AR and DA.
Yeah, interestingly, I found that a lot easier to see alphabetizing the rack. There are quite a lot of players that like alphabetizing their racks and learning it. I am not one of those players that does that. Maybe I should start it.
Yeah, I'd recommend it, especially if you use Ziziva to card boxes. I imagine just about everybody does these days, because that's how.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If you just get used to saying, "Oh, here's a string of letters. I know what this maps to. I've got several words here." It's just very helpful, I find.
Can't disagree with that. I mean, it works for you, and it clearly doesn't work for me. So.
Right, I've drawn well here. Even though it's 2 vowels, it makes a few 7s, ionized, iodines, possibly something else. And Paul's helpfully put the T between 2 doubles, so look for a bit and see the 4-timer. So again, once you see that, not much to think about. The shape of the board dictates that I'm not going to have too much on here. The top right's pretty much dead at the moment because of the XU. You can play iodines onto Adoptee, but that gives a lot away and doesn't score as many as the 4-timer. So once you see additions, then there's not really much to think about, even though it does hang the S out as a floater. And of course, there's the S front hook too. But you're scoring 86 there. So again, you just play it and take the 86 points.
Yeah, not much else beats a double-double except for a triple-triple. Or if you're playing Super Scrabble, a quadruple-triple. I think I've gotten one of those in our Christmas editions of these things.
I've got a set somewhere. I think I played it once and decided, oh, this takes too long. It's not as good as regular Scrabble. I'm not going to play it again. So it's been gathering dust ever since.
Yes, I definitely agree it takes too long, and that's why in this household we play Protesi rules Super Scrabble. Cheating allowed. But
right.
It makes it way more fun.
Yes, I imagine if you can cheat, then might lead to more arguments, but yeah, more fun, hopefully.
Yeah, Paul's not drawn a very good post-bonus rack.
Yes, I remember this move. When I saw what he played, obviously I didn't know what his full rack was, but when I saw what he played, I thought, well, what on earth could he be keeping that makes that the correct play? For purposes of spoiler, he played autoed onto the D additions for 7 points. Now, I see this quite often. I see people, even good people, even Nigel sometimes, they play 5 tiles, mostly vowels, mostly consonants. For face value, they score 9. And I just think, why are they doing that? It doesn't control the board, doesn't score anything. In this case, the lead's not even particularly good. It's 2 E's. I think when I ran this through Quackle earlier, it said auto's best, but I can't agree with that. I think it's an error to do that. I think even keeping ET or AET or something like that is much better. I can't see much by way of score, so I wholeheartedly disagree with autoed here, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly not setting up the X here either. That's already gone.
Yeah.
And changing just gives more control of the rack, and 7 points is really nothing to give up.
Exactly.
Like the whole argument for 5-point penalty is that you rarely lose a game by 5 points, so sacrificing 7 here to make your rack slightly better is just it's just no difference.
No. So yeah, like I said, a very bizarre move and one that puzzled me greatly at the time.
Yeah, Championship player prefers the exchange leaving ATE, and then autoed is all the way down here in 7th.
Yeah, so that's a rare mistake by Paul there. He's only 10 behind, that you shouldn't fair changing here. Yeah, I think I drew the Q first, if I remember correctly, and got the U shortly afterwards, which was nice. Obviously, when you get the Q, you look and think, oh, can I get anything with it here? The little thought shows that there isn't anything really good with the Q here. Hopefully Paul's given me somewhere nice for my M, so I played Gloom fairly quickly here because it scores a lot and leaves QU. maybe I can hit something next move from D1 down, quota maybe for over 50 points, or something from A12 across like Quinn or something. So I was very happy to play Gloom quickly here, score some points, take out the hotspot he'd opened up, and possibly score 50 next time with the Q.
Mm-hmm. And even if Paul didn't play autoed, you always had J6 hotspot to play with Ohm. And it's really important to remember that just because you get the Q with the U all the time, you don't always have to play it straight away.
Indeed, yeah, you don't have to rush at anything here.
And keeping the Q and the U together is just really good for your rack.
Well, I think QU has, is it neutral synergy or something? But
I have no idea. I should probably learn how much synergy everything has.
Yeah, but it basically means, actually on this board, QU is pretty good because, as I said, there's all these scoring spots for it. You can even play Quart onto the AA triple, so I've got a reasonably good chance of getting 50 next move with QU. As it turns out, I do get something like that, as you'll see.
Mm-hmm. So Paul's drawn the first blank from his 5-tile turnover.
Yeah, so he played auto, got the blank, which shows what I know. It worked out quite well for him.
Yeah. No sevens here.
No, he'll have spent a bit of time looking to see what there is.
Yeah.
The S looks tempting, but the UW combination kind of kills it.
Yeah, there's only one possible 8 here. And there's the right floaters aren't on the board. You need a C or a D.
Unchewed, I presume?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so once you've worked out there's no bonus, your eyes are immediately drawn to the A12 across spot, so things like when or we, this is what Paul actually played.
Which one would you go for, when or we?
I was also going to say there's unwet as well onto the T, which looks very good actually. Keeping HE blank, you've got the floating N next move, and yeah, keeping the H is quite useful because it plays in plenty of bonuses, and you've got blank to support it, and it doesn't give much away really. I mean, something like when or we does give away the triple, but it's a W. They probably aren't going to score much with it anyway.
Yeah, maybe like 21 points.
Yeah, I think I would play Unwet, which Quackle doesn't like, but whatever.
Screw Quackle. She can go home or something.
Yeah. I think a lot of people put too much stock in what Quackle says. At the end of the day, it's just a tool. You should still be able to think through moves and think, well, I think this move's better because X, Y, Z. And not just to blindly accept everything it says. So don't become a mindless drone when using Quackle, basically.
Yeah, we all play slightly differently.
We do.
God,
yeah.
I set this on the wrong dictionary. This would explain why. Whoopsie.
So I drew very well to QU, a couple of vowels, because the Q is very vowel hungry. You usually need several vowels to play it for anything. Paul did restrict that E of adopt T, but it's still floating enough for me to play my bonus. If you don't see the bonus, then even then you've got things like Quint or Quirt for 45, so I can score easily enough here if I don't see the bonus. But again, I played querying fairly quickly once I convinced myself there wasn't anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bonus always in this scenario. Not much else to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, Paul drew very badly here. He kept UN blank, drew a V, which is always unwelcome when you kept a U, and 2 T's as well, and no more vowels. So he's got to think about how can I dispose of the V and the U, and it's very hard to do that on this board. He makes a nice play in the end. He slots in tempt above additions. Still keeping UV, but he's got so few vowels, his choices are very limited here. once you see tempt, I think you have to play it. There's really very little else you can do. I mean, you could play mutt and tam, for example, or munt, but that scores very little, and TV blank isn't great. So I think once you see tempt, it'll more or less go straight down.
Yeah, there's always something like Vum, but believe is still as iffy. And tempt is 30 points. Doesn't really restrict anything either.
Yeah.
Especially as Paul is a bonus behind, he needs to make sure he keeps something open.
I guess the drawback of keeping UV, even with the blank, is that you're going to likely have to wait another turn before you can play a bonus. So something like Vum is better in that regard, in the sense that you can play a bonus sooner. But I think the score differential is just enough for him to make tempt the better play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Firstly, looking to maximise that J. You know,
yeah.
power towel.
So you've got things like jam, hooking the J onto the AM, but there isn't anything that you can play down from D1 that ends in J. So
yeah, you have something like drawing, scores 34 points, but you're leaving the J between the two triples. That's kind of an easy 30+ score if your opponent's holding the right letters. Of course, it's not that easy to maximise, but...
Well, putting the J there is not so bad, because there aren't that many words that start with the J as the second letter. I mean, you'd have to play something down from A2, and that's pretty unlikely. So drawing's not as risky as it looks. In the end, I played Wilgers and Sam because it scored a lot. Good board control, and it's... well, I don't like tile turnover especially, but it was good to try and accelerate the game along a bit. Quackle, I think, when I ran it through, suggested that Lawrence under queering was good, scoring a few points more and keeping the J, although the J is not really that useful on this board.
I find it hard to find J's useful, like, because they need specific tiles to really be played to their best, and when you have to kind of make sure you're picking like an O or an A or an E, like, and then you get stuck with I's and U's, it can be very difficult.
It can. It does go well with a lot of vowels though, the J, so you can play things like Ouija or JIAO, things like that. But yeah, the J is sort of the odd one out of the big four, because you've got the Z and the X, which are obviously good to have because they're so flexible, and the Q, which is usually very awkward, and the J is sort of a mixture. It's sometimes very useful and sometimes pretty useless. So I was happy to get 45 for it here and just move the game on.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, the UV hampers him again, and he's going to have to wait another turn for a bonus. So you're looking to play off the UV, possibly the F as well. He could burn the blank and play Fauve under queering. That's about 50 or so, I think. 54?
Yeah.
Which would put him about 30 behind.
But he is burning the blank there. And
yeah. Because you might make me think he's got the other one as well. But I don't think it's quite worth it. I think he plays Vaunt in the end, which looks perfectly fine. Disposes of the UV. FR blank is a perfectly fine leave. Yeah, he's probably just happy to get rid of the UV here, which I think that's the best way of doing it. Oh, there's 4 as well. That's also interesting, but you're keeping the V, and the V is really awkward on this board. So with Vaunt. Yeah, that's the ugly side of tile turnover. You draw a rack of Drek, which is surprisingly common. That's why
that's the nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Drawing Drek.
Yeah. There aren't many floating vowels on this board, so having a rack like that with just a single vowel in the VY, it suddenly becomes very awkward. especially to find a player that doesn't open things up, because I'm more than 50 ahead. I don't want to open it up unnecessarily. I did consider playing Gravy through the A. I don't remember why I didn't play that, because it's a perfectly fine move. It doesn't play, just plays off 4 consonants, keeps a vowel. DNO is a perfectly fine keep, and it doesn't give anything away. I didn't see giving the spelling with the Y through the I and the G of Williams Gloom, which I think Quackle said is the best move. Keeps DOR, and it disposes of the worst letters. I played Vying in the end, which is significantly worse, but it does get rid of the VY at least.
There it is.
Yep, somewhere down the bottom is Vying.
There's still a bit more of the list to go. Not quite the bottom.
Yeah, it's in the top 10. That's something. Paul draws a couple of fouls. His rat looks much better now. The board's pretty close. It's just a floating S. There's not really anywhere for a 7, unless you find one that can fit under queering. So Troppins, I guess, something like that would fit there. So if you look to the S, the C and the F make it a bit awkward to do, but there is one here which I think you played pretty quickly. Once you see defaces, there's not really much to think about. It's not worth playing something like Def or Ref under queering, because defaces scores so much more. And it's generally not a good idea to turn a bonus down if it's a tight board, because it's quite easy to find yourself in a situation where you play off 3 tiles for 30, your opponent shuts the board down, and then you're stuck with a blank for several moves, cursing your luck, as it were.
Yes, I've done that sometimes, because it's 30 points, doesn't really do much, keeps the board relatively stable, but then I don't draw a bonus for like another 3 turns, so I know that feeling all too well.
Yeah, I remember in my formative years, someone told me that if you have a bonus, you should play it, because you can always draw another one next time. Obviously, that's not possible if you don't play the bonus. So I don't think that's always true, but it's worth remembering if you're not sure what to play.
I'm not sure on Quackle's positioning of the blanks here. I don't agree with it. I think putting the blank here is much better.
It's just variance, I think. It doesn't really matter where you put the blank.
Yeah, what's 1 point gonna do?
So I kept DGOR, I think, and drew IKT, so it's a slightly awkward rack. The K is not that useful on this board. The DGK combination doesn't work well together. I thought for a while here, I think I eventually played Work, which I wasn't very happy with at the time, but Quackle seems to agree with it. Only 4 ahead here, so I don't have to worry too much about opening it too much. I've got the IG still for under queering, so hopefully I can get some points next time. Yeah, I wasn't terribly happy with Work at the time, but it seems to be okay.
Yeah, I suppose the rack leave is your only problem, but there isn't much you can really do about that.
No.
And I suppose prioritising the score that you get with the K is going to push any play a lot higher on the list than any play that kind of focuses a lot more on rack balancing that scores about 10 points less.
I mean, there's things like Corgi across from the Sea of Defaces, but DKT is not a good leave, so I was happy just to take some points for the K and move on.
And Corgi is a lot more open as well, especially with that blank still unseen.
True, and he's just played 7, so he could well have it next time.
Trig versus Work?
Trig's quite interesting. Obviously, you're not keeping any letters that can hook under UG, so I can't see the tile tracking terribly well, but I don't know how many tiles are left.
There's 2 S's and a blank. There's 28 unseen, so 21 in the bag.
So, yeah, better than even odds. He's got one of those, so happy with Work, I think, here.
Better than even odds, how about he has 2?
Yep. Actually, I can't remember what he did here, but you're immediately drawn to the spot under the Q. You've got the P, so something like rips or just rips, I guess. I think he kept the S for some reason. I don't know why he wouldn't just play that one there because it's worth 8 points more, which is the standard value for an S. If you've got two S's and you can play, well, if you can score more than 8 points more with playing your S than not playing it, then you should do it. And he's got the last two S's, so that's fine. Maybe he just wanted to give himself the opportunity to score and the up next turn, but
there's an O and a blank still unseen as well.
Both playing rips.
Yeah, rips.
There is, and there's an O as well. So I would just play rips there.
Yeah, and S's aren't particularly useful on this board either. Like, there's pretty much nowhere really for it. So
no, they're useless. So the extra 12 points must be worth playing rips here. So a small mistake by Paul there.
Oh, Quackle's gone all weird on us.
I don't understand that at all.
I'm pretty sure I haven't set it to TW all this time.
Nah, I can't agree with Ebs there at all. But yeah, just play rips and move on, I think.
Oh, it was at the top, I just missed it.
Alright, fair enough, yeah.
So bad. I'm no good at scrolling. Forgive me.
Yeah, Drew, very fortunately here. I kept DGIT and drew just about the best I could have done. 2 vowels and the remaining blank. I saw both playable sevens pretty quickly. I picked the lower scoring one because it gave slightly less away. Once you see the sevens, there's not really much to think about because there's no way you can play an 8 on this board. Oh, you can play through the V actually of Vaunt, but it's only face value. And the DG pretty much guarantees there isn't one there. So, he played rip, not rips, by the way.
Oh yeah, whoopsie. But anyway, bigoted comes out slightly more than ingoted.
Yeah,
which is correct because ingoted leaves the I in the middle of the triples.
Yeah, although generally speaking, if you put a vowel on a double letter square between two triples, your opponents score less there than you might think on average because they can't put their high scoring tiles on the double because it's already covered. So they might score 30 there on average, maybe, probably not even that much. So I think I was more concerned about the 9-timer threat than 30 scoring threat there. So bigoted just made it harder for him to score next time.
Yep.
And here Paul decided that things were so desperate he'd try a phony. I don't think he needs to press the panic button just yet. Although it does look pretty bleak for him. He's 86 points behind. The board's pretty blocked. He does have the 2 S's to go under up. So he should be focusing on trying to create an opening somewhere in the top right. Something like Bible, maybe, just to give me something to think about. Which opens up a 9-timer. I'm forced to deal with that, and he can perhaps go out with a bonus under up. He ends up playing Babes and Queerings, and I thought at the time that's surely not valid, and it wasn't. And from that point on, I knew the game was mine. But yeah, he just panicked a bit too early, and that sealed his fate, really.
Missing a turn really does change your fortunes in a game.
Yeah. People say if you play a phony and it gets challenged off, you shouldn't win the game. Obviously, that doesn't always happen, but in this case, that is what happens. He's very much odds against winning anyway, but this just sealed it, really. So all I have to do now is not do anything stupid. I know he's got an S. I've got the F, so I can play it under querying, and I can restrict the ups opening. So anything under there, so NEF or F or FE are fine. I picked was it Tef in the end? I think I played, or Nef.
Nef.
Just to restrict the. I didn't want to play Effie because he can still play hook something easily onto Fs. He's got the SE, so no, he's got both Bs, but I don't want to make it too easy for him.
He could still fit Babes underneath Nebs, but also he's holding the case S's, so he could just play Babe, stop one short, and then it becomes hard for you to block. But you're holding the C, so that then makes it really easy to block. But
yeah, the C is useful. I didn't think that far ahead as it happens, but yeah, the C is good for blocking. So if I did play Effie and he plays something to try and set up a big S hook, I can block it without much effort.
yeah, I think faint here is assuming you're going to pick up an S, which is
yeah. I
which
mean, he doesn't have to have both S's, of course, by playing Babes, but I felt after Nef I wasn't going to lose, so that was that.
Mm-hmm. Same rack again for Paul. Board got no better.
And the game's just gone from here. He tries to set up a S hook, but he empties the bag in doing so. So I know I've got perfect knowledge of what he has and what he can do. I think Bible again is his best chance, although it's really remote now. He's got to try and fit something on the Nef, and playing me off pretty much ensures that that's not going to happen. So yeah, you just got to try something and hope I do something silly.
Yeah, you got 6% chance of winning here. I wonder what letters he'd have to draw for that. Probably the Z, I can imagine.
Yeah, his chances are close to zero here. I don't see where 6% comes from, but
maybe a 9 timer if you like stupidly leave it open or something.
Well, I know he's got both Bs, so actually having a floating B there is quite helpful for him. So I'm not going to leave that. I guess he could play something across from queering, so Abel and Ag, leave one in the bag. It's a long shot, but it's all he's got at this stage. So after Sable, it's easy enough for me to block everything.
Especially with that C.
Yes. So the bag's empty now. I've got 5 vowels. Paul has no vowels. So I know I've won. He can't bonus out. He can play Burls and Sables, so I've got to try and do something about that. And fortunately, I can, even though I've got 5 vowels. I think I thought for about a minute and a half, and I just played ACAI and Ag just to take out the best Burl spot. He can still play Burls there, but it's much fewer, and he's still got the Z. So, and Quackle did agree with Akai.
Look at all these 100% win chances.
Yeah, nice to have. Then EIT plays in a few places, so once you see Akai which blocks all his best moves, then it's an easy play to make.
And always important to consider in endgame what your opponent's best move is, so that if you're trying to conserve spread or get some more spread, you can just block your opponent's outplay or best scoring move if that's the best endgame choice, and then upset
you have to remain alert all the time, because you can't just switch off, because the spread can be very important later on. It wasn't in this tournament, but it's a good habit to get into, just constantly looking for the best move and not switching off just because you're 100 ahead in the end game. The spread can come in handy later on.
As I know, I once won a division by 2 spread points.
Yeah, there's been a few cases where people have won by less than 10 points of spread. It happens surprisingly often, so yeah, just don't switch off early, basically.
I'm pretty sure we've already looked through a lot of these moves. Really, for Paul here, it's just looking for a vowel. Really, he can't do anything without a vowel. So obviously the I of Bigoted, the E of Defaces seems to be pretty good, the A of Vaunt over here, and the I of Akai.
Yeah.
And pretty much every move. Benzel is quite lucky because it hits the Z on the M9 double letter square, so it just maximises the score and it gets rid of all the high scoring consonants.
Yeah, I didn't see Benzel at the time actually, but it's academic. Akai was the best move, and He ends up playing Briny, which is not quite the best move, but it doesn't matter at this point because the game's gone.
Yeah, and you're definitely going out next turn.
Indeed. Yeah, again, look for the best move. Don't just play the first thing you see, so Yite. I end up playing Kite, which is the highest scoring move. And yeah, it's a very good win for me against a very tough opponent.
Definitely very tough. He's
Paul actually went over time by he lost 20 points on the clock, so it turned out to be quite a blowout for me. So beating my closest rival for the Masters by almost 150 was certainly a big confidence boost. Have you told people yet what happens in the result, or?
No, I haven't been going through the standings in this series.
Yeah. But yeah, I took that result forward. Got some momentum out of it, and I carried on pretty well in this tournament.
Yeah, and if you want to check out the results, head to Centre Star, go to the 2015 section of Centre Star, scroll down to the ABSP Masters and have a look for the results there. I'll post a link in the description as well. But thank you so much for joining me this evening, Lewis. It's been great.
Yes, thank you, Jessica. It's nice to be able to talk about a game. I think I've got another one that crops up later on against Rick. So
yeah, you do.
I'm happy to comment on that as well because I do make more mistakes than that. So it's always fun to hear people talk about things they've done wrong.
Of course, I'll definitely ask you again for that game.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
So the next game we have for the Masters is Femi Awawade and Wayne Kelly. So hopefully you guys watching enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time for round 7 of the ABSP Masters.
Thank you.
Bye.